Welcome back to the MMA Plug, presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside UFC middleweight Josh Fremd. If you hear that song going on and it is in any relation to the UFC, then you know the significance of what that means. We have a very special guest joining us via the MyFitFoods hotline, the one and only, the great and powerful Cody Brundage. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
Let's go, Cody! Dude, I got so pumped when Dolly Parton came on. I got so hyped. I'm over here dancing in the chair like a Neanderthal idiot. I'm glad to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's wild how Dolly can get the people so excited.
Gets the people going.
It's provocative. So, Cody, you've got a big fight coming up this weekend at UFC Vegas 50. Why don't you share initially right away off the top, what are some of your thoughts on the matchup this weekend?
Well, I like the matchup. I think the guy's really explosive. He obviously has power in his hands, and he fights like a powerful fighter. Everything he throws is to put your head in the third row. But, power, I think everyone at 85 has decent power, and I'm sparring with guys like Dustin Jacoby and Josh Fremd every day. So I feel like I'm well adjusted to the power. And then other than that, I feel like, I have a wrestling advantage. I feel like I have a speed advantage, a striking advantage. I feel better everywhere, definitely a cardio advantage. So I really like the matchup. It's going to be, when Coach Mark called me with the fight, he's like, you're just going to have to be willing to live in the fire and be in this guy's face and push a pace that he's not willing to push. And I feel like I check all those boxes. I worked really hard this camp to put myself in a position to do that. So I'm just excited to kind of show the fruits of my labor for sure.
That's a really good point and a good analyst of the fight, Cody. Is going on a little bit of a different path here. I know that your first UFC fight was let's not say it was very short notice. We were practicing one day and you were like, oh, hey, I got to go. I got signed to the UFC and I'm fighting in 2 days. So what is it like now finally being out in Vegas and getting to just take it all in, get to take in what fight week is like in the UFC?
Yeah, it's awesome. I feel like a lot of people don't know what was going on in terms of everything that I had going with that fight. Obviously my close friends and teammates do, but it was a lot more than just a fight on 48 hours notice. I had a lot of things going on in my personal life with my daughter and things that, really diminished what the fight was. The fight didn't seem as important because of everything else I had going on. But, I feel excited for this one. I feel like I've really gotten to take it in, like you said, and just feel good. I feel like I just finished a workout at the PI. Last time I didn't do that. I feel like I'm doing everything that I should have, not that you should do, because obviously it was a great opportunity. I was pumped for it, but I feel like I'm taking advantage of all the perks of being a UFC fighter. So it's cool. It's cool to be out here. We got good vibes. I got Dustin Jacoby and Colin going out here with me, and they're always good vibes. So it's been a much different fight week for sure.
How much of a factor in terms of, you obviously you led into it perfectly right there. Thank you for the alley-oop question there, by the way. But how great is it to have someone who has the veteran experience and is also riding such a hot wave of momentum like Dustin Jacoby right there with you?
Oh, it's awesome. Like I said, that kid is probably the most confident dude I know. And that just rubs off on you. You are who you hang out with. You are who you're around. And if you're around people that are ultra confident and confident in you, you're going to feel that. But it was also great. We were just in camp, the whole camp basically together. He just fought last weekend. I'm right after him. And anytime we're in camp together, I know we're pushing each other, getting good work. And he's a top 15 guy in the world. Officially now, we've all known that for a long time, but officially a top 15 guy in the world today. And when you have that person as a training partner, and you have Josh Fremd as a training partner, and you have Anthony Smith as a training partner, and Austin Jones, and the list goes on, Basil and Harris, there's a lot of things to be confident about and feel good about. Factory X, I truly feel is the best gym in the world, and like I said, I feel really good because I can have a lot of confidence knowing I'm training with the best fighters in the world.
There, you said it. But speaking of back-to-back, as Drake once said, Cody, DJ and then Cody's up. And another one on confidence. What is the over-under that Jordan Kurtz here can say your opponent's name fluidly in one shot?
If I know Jordan Kurtz, I know he's been practicing, so it's not going to be his first try. I'm going to give him Probably at 9. I'm gonna give him a 90% chance.
90. All right, let's hear it, Jordan.
Yeah.
Dolce Lunjambula.
I thought you were gonna say Dolce and Gabbana.
I like it. I think that was better than I've been doing all week. So
I mean, I'm sure I am still completely butchering that one. I pale in comparison to the great John Anik out there, who we know does more preparation on the name pronunciation than anybody out there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping nobody gets too familiar with that name. I don't plan on people saying it too much that night or thereafter. So hopefully people keep butchering it.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh, I'm so pumped.
Love hearing that there. Now, Cody, you mentioned that you feel like that the wrestling is definitely a major advantage for you, which I believe is certainly an accurate assessment there. But I also, from just being close to the situation and getting to see your training or see your sparring rounds, you've shown so much growth and evolution all the way around in your game. Is that something that you have to stay conscious of? Like, you have to remember what the bread and butter is without trying to maybe want to get too comfortable on the feet with a guy who specializes there?
For sure. I do feel like I'm better everywhere, and I do feel like I've gotten a lot better. That's a huge attribute just to my teammates and how good they are, and how wrestling I can't just wrestle with my teammates. I got to get better everywhere. I got to be able to compete everywhere, or I won't win. But I feel like this camp, I've done a really good job of mixing up. I was getting a lot better at striking, but I wasn't using my wrestling, right? Like, I was just kind of falling in love with the hands in the process of getting so much better there that it was like an active thought process to say, oh, you're a wrestler, man. You can wrestle, but like that. Your strikes lead to my wrestling leads to my strikes, and I have the cardio to push that pace, almost like a Kobe Covington style fight. That I don't really feel like it needs to be a thought. I feel like everything is just falling into place in terms of, like, I know, okay, I'm in this position, I can wrestle, I can break off, I can strike, I can go back to wrestling. Whereas before it was like very separate, it was striking and wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And I had 3 separate parts of my game, and it was a constant battle to try to remember, oh, I can do this, or oh, I can do that. And now I just feel like I'm more of a complete fighter in terms of, like, I can just fluidly flow from one style of fight to the next.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be on display this weekend for you in your fight. But just getting on a little bit to a lighter bit of a note here, we're not going to say wrestler because everyone knows you're a wrestler, but we're going to say fighter, and as a fighter and as a wrestler through and through most of your life, you've cut weight your entire life, basically, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're in pretty good control of it, right, you would say?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. So when you're cutting weight, Cody, is there a little tiny treat that you like to have while you're cutting weight? I know me personally, it's Skittles. I love Skittles. And when I'm cutting weight and I can't drink water, I'll have myself some Skittles. Do you have a treat like that, Cody?
I feel like I do eat Jolly Ranchers every now and again, just because it gives me a better flavor than bile. But yeah, I don't get too many treats. I feel like my weight's usually good enough that I don't have to, like, kill myself on a hard diet for weeks on end. Some fighters, they cut so much weight that they're struggling with their diet all week. I'm fortunate that I don't really have to deal with that, so it's really just a water cut for me. So there's a little bit of being miserable, but it's mostly just like 24 hours maybe top. So not too bad.
That's really good, because I know recently this past week I've been helping one of my aunts with my cousin, helping her with her son and cutting weight and wrestling. And it's always good to be able to hear people who do it the correct way. They're not out there killing themselves, draining themselves, trying to get a quote unquote advantage because they're going to blow back up, because it's kind of disadvantageous to you. To you to cut that much weight. So when you go into the fight, you're kind of not all there in a sense.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I 100% feel like I could make 170 if I decided to. It's just not something that really appeals to me. Obviously, cutting a lot of weight doesn't appeal to anyone, but someone who's done it their whole life, I just feel like there is something to be said for cutting some weight. I shouldn't fight at 205. But I'm not the biggest 85er, and I know that, but I always feel more confident because I know, okay, I got a good chin. I didn't drain my body so much this camp. I got to focus on getting better, and my cardio is better because of it. My power is better because of it. And I feel like those things are more important than, okay, I got 10 or 15 pound advantage on this person in the fight.
I'm going to counter that real quick, Cody. I feel like you would have to cut a limb off to be able to make 170. But maybe that's just from my vantage point or from where I see it. Because, maybe that's just thinking like, okay, you fought at 205 and you fought at 185. Like, man, to get all the way down to 70, it's almost like the same talk that we had in the last segment about Thiago Santos, who at one point fought all the way down at 70 and now is at a lightweight. But like I say, it just kind of struck me when you said that right there. But Cody, I just wanted to wrap up here. We are talking to UFC middleweight Cody Brundage, who will be fighting this weekend on UFC Vegas 50 on the ESPN card this weekend. Now, Cody, you're going to also, now that you have this full week, you'll be doing a lot of the media stuff for some of the different outlets, taking advantage of those opportunities. You also serve as a commentator out here in Colorado for the Colorado Combat Club, who will be having our 11th show out there at the end of the month. How do you think that all of that just kind of helps boost your overall profile and being so well on the mic and polished in front of the camera?
Oh, for sure. It's all about building your brand. And it used to be about like, okay, who can be the baddest fighter? And now it's about who can be the baddest fighter while also being intelligent and presentable and so many other things, so it's just good always to get lots of practice. I feel like that's one thing that I have that maybe a lot of fighters don't have, is that I can speak well, I carry myself well, I'm a professional, and, anytime I get in front of a mic, it's always good, these things. And also, like you said, I also enjoy commentating, and not only does commentating help with my mic presence and things like that, but it also helps with just analyzing the sport. I'm a corner, I like coaching. I love coaching, actually, and being able to call fights and be a part from that side also gives me a different perspective, which I think is beneficial to my fighting and my coaching. So it's all good. I love the sport. I love anything I can do to be a part of the sport and be around the sport, which includes interviews and media and all those things. So it's all enjoyable for me.
Perfectly said, my man. Is there anybody that you want to throw a shout out to on the way out, and also let people know where they can follow you?
Yeah, I want to shout out my gym. I feel like we've put in a ton of work. I've worked really hard this camp. I'm excited to show the fruits of that labor, like I said, but I just feel like I wouldn't be where I am without my teammates and my training partners and my coaches, and I'm just super appreciative to all of them. You can follow me at Cody_Brundage_, and then my Twitter is Cody Brundage 185.
Thank you so much for taking the time, Cody. We appreciate you, and we are looking forward to seeing you get back to work this weekend at UFC Vegas 50. Stick around after the break, folks. We're going to be running through the schedule in the combat sports world for the weekend and capping off the hour by going 3 rounds. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside UFC middleweight Josh Fremd. This is the MMA Plug, presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio.
Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug, presented by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio, on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m.
or live stream at DenverSportsBetting.com/radio.